How's it going, peeps? Welcome back to Viva La Coin. I am Viva. I will be your host for today's episode. Sorry it's coming to you a day late. I had some family emergency I had to attend to, but still, I wanted to cover some of the things that we're doing in Nemonium that we actually spoke about on my video with Jay Crypto just over the past week. And that's uploaded on his channel. So I'm going to jump into what we're currently working on in between the phase drops at Nemonium. Now, ultimately, as we go through this video, always feel free to leave any comments or things down below that you want me to respond to directly. I am always happy to do so. So looking at, the market's up, so congrats to everyone that's still hanging on and believed in that reversal. So we'll see how that pans out. And again, none of this is ever financial advice. I always tell people I am not an oracle. I am not a wizard. I cannot tell you what will come in the future. I only know what my personal conviction is. But if you did want to watch those videos in the Nemonium Discord, I currently have uploaded all the videos thus far, either myself or with other content creators, that will be under the tab on the left titled Viva Media. So feel free to jump in and watch anything if you want to get caught up there. Now, one thing that we touched on whenever we discussed Nemonium along with different DAOs, ADAO was on, Acronym was on, it was about bringing value to the community and how to functionally fill this gap between the point that we're at and other DAOs are at, where you don't have a fully functional DAO yet, and obviously we want to be transparent about that, and I stressed how important that was. But how do you build value for the community outside of that? Because you have proposals coming up in different DAOs or different communities, what floors to sweep, buying blue chip art. And the way that I view it is, as we build this out, not only is it important to eventually get to the point where everyone has the pure liquidity to exit autonomously, enter autonomously, I feel like it's even more important in the interim to give people incentive to stay. So when people were talking about, well, DAO slowed down a bit, or the hype kind of phased out a bit, I went on and I checked JPEG Store, and the OG skulls, as well as our other pieces, are still doing really well. I'm not a floor price person. I tend to be a long-term investor in the things that I believe in, or in this case, that I'm also helping to build alongside Nemo. But I wanted to focus more on why that would be the case. So I know I mentioned in a couple prior videos about the ability to incentivize people that believe in our project. Now, those OG skulls, whenever they came out, they not only went to their original owners and those that held on to them, were whitelisted for not only the phase 1, but also the upcoming phase 2 drop with Fauna, who does all the 3D dead pixel work. But they were also airdropped 13,000 skull token, which that will be our utility token inside our closed ecosystem of Nemonium, that we are still working towards functionality with that as well. But they received that airdrop to them too. So right out of the gate for that 10 Cardano that they gave Nemo on Twitter for their OG skull, they're up tremendously. So we want to continue to incentivize people to stay in this community and to bring additional value outside of just buying blue chip art, because it's very difficult if you go and buy, let's say, a Space Bud for the floor right now, I believe is 7,000 Cardano. There's a lot of market that needs to move in order to get that to 2x, and then you divvy it out, and those people, as soon as they either get handed their token or they get their reward, they're incentivized to exit or to take that profit, as opposed to just going out and purchasing those things themselves if they could, or maybe finding better opportunities with newer projects coming out. So aside from trying to support new and upcoming artists and highlight people in the space that are either underappreciated or maybe not well known, or give artists that are just coming into the space their opportunity to showcase what they can do in our community, we wanted to go one step further and start to build out that ecosystem in the interim as we work towards the functional DAO piece of that ecosystem. Now, that included reaching out to die cases. So for this individual, Nemo was tweeting a lot about Skull Token and what we're doing at Nemonium, and he actually ran Skull Pool. So if you're, I'm assuming everyone here is familiar with stake pools on Cardano, but Skull Stake Pool was a smaller single pool that was operated, and he saw Nemo tweeting about Skull Token. So they started to speak back and forth, and we actually partnered up with them to create our Skull Stake Pool as it currently is. Now, since that point, and it's been about a month and a half, we currently have just around 2 million Cardano and delegations that have been provided by multiple different members of the community, including Ada Digis, which is a cnft project that's been around for a while. They just tweeted out that they were going to delegate Cardano over to Skull Pool. So it's cool seeing all the same people that believe in Nemo and trust his process and what we're attempting to work towards then go and stake their Cardano with Skull Stake Pool. Now, as we're producing blocks and trying to generate Cardano for the community, for anyone that stakes there, some of those profits also go back into the community for us then to either create proposals or spend that to further build things within that ecosystem. So it is a different idea of sustainability as opposed to just going out and buying maybe a well-known blue chip project. Not that we don't support them, it's just we want to try and build internally in the community and create value there. Now, for die cases, they were saying they even have different ideas of maybe ways to incentivize or reward people with different NFT art that they create, or spin up a couple different charities within the stake pool as well for anyone that's delegating. So it'll be interesting and exciting to see what news develops over the course of time. But it's also nice that they have the same mindset of not putting anything, no cart before the horse. Let's start producing blocks. Let's have everyone delegate. And what can we do in the interim successfully now in order to distribute our, let's say, ecosystem token for future utility that we're working on? So DripDropz actually partnered up with us previously at the end of February, and we were able to start rewarding our delegators with Skull Token. Now, those individuals can go and collect that each epoch, and thanks to DripDropz technology, they're able to go put in their wallet address if they stake with Skull Pool and collect their Skull Token. Now, we've already distributed over 400,000 Skull Token to individuals that stake to that pool, and there's a set amount. So once that's fully distributed, then that's our way of doing the token drop as opposed to just dropping big chunks of it to anyone that has those pieces, because you'll see, hey, if you get a massive reward all at once, and everyone does, then some people will look to dump that out onto the market, and we want to find functionality for that with the different aspects of our community that we're building. So just rewarding individuals with that and incentivizing them to sell, it wouldn't really functionally help us trying to work towards any utility. So it's interesting to see DripDropz working with us, or Skull Pool doing really well and having delegators come in. And then we have Fauna's phase 2 drop coming up, and the art that he's put together is absolutely incredible. I got some additional sneak peeks there, and I am absolutely thrilled for everyone to see what he was able to create. So just wanted to highlight some of the other things that we're doing within our ecosystem. And I think it's important to lean into both a concept of transparency of, hey, we are working towards these things, but in the interim, here's what we can do, and here's what we can disclose, and here's how we want to help. And then in the other turn, trying to set the precedent that if you have an idea, if you want to help create something within this ecosystem that brings value, they just reached out to Nemo. And next thing you know, we have a functional stake pool producing blocks for the Nemonium community. And myself and some other people are working on different concepts for either merchandising or art or any physical things that other people have been requesting in order to purchase or put together. But if someone else came up and they said, I have a really good idea, well, we have funding within the ecosystem and community that we can put towards that or collaborate on. And we want to keep it very open source not so much myself, like I'm not a developer, I don't code, but open source in the thought process of what can we do to better ourselves within our ecosystem and community and provide value to other people beyond just going out and purchasing things and sitting on them. So hopefully that clarifies a little bit of our perspective of what we're trying to work on. And ultimately, every single day, it is just a journey to push closer and closer to having that full ecosystem operate and self-sustain and govern and be autonomous in its own right for everyone in there. So we're doing our due diligence and working every single day to take us there. But what the community has been able to provide just in opportunities to stabilize different aspects of what we can do now, it is nothing short of incredible. So thank you to everyone involved, and hopefully I'll be able to make a video coming up here soon about the phase 2 drop, but we haven't selected the official date yet, so stay tuned. Aside from that, thank you for joining me on this episode of Viva La Coin. I appreciate you all, and I will see you next time.